Well, Aquarius Platinum is the world's fourth-ranked platinum miner by production. It has significant operations near Rustenburg, an important mine called Mimosa, that's in Zimbabwe. Aquarius has battled with geological and other problems in the last 2 years. It has a market cap of 2.4 billion rand, but is not currently profitable and pays no dividends. Aquarius.
This has really been, an annus horribilis, as they say. So at some point, this company was of market cap, such scale, well above 20 billion, that it was in the Aussie 40, or would have been, except for the fact that it's quite tightly held. And it's gone all the way down there to 5 rand. So you could have bought them at 125.
Well, it's actually almost flatlining here.
Yeah.
It's so low.
But that's because, frankly, if you run through their operations, only Mimosa, which is the project up in Zimbabwe co-owned by Impala, is profitable. And you know, in Zimbabwe, the whole indigenization thing is very much an unknown. They haven't resolved the transaction. All of their other mines, Marikana, the Everest section got shut down because of geological problems they couldn't fix. So really, it sort of lurches. It bought Blue Ridge at a great cost. It has done nothing with it ever. It's taken a stake, or has planned to take some sort of stake in Boysendal, the south section. That deal is sort of on hold. So all things considered, looking extremely weak right now.
Could Zimbabwe be the catalyst here and the one operation that, when everything comes right, and there's lots of positivity about what's happening in Zimbabwe despite the indigenization, etc., Gary, could this be a fair play?
Definitely. I mean, you look at the market cap sitting around 2.5 billion. We're valuing, if you look at just the Mimosa interest, the 50% stake there and the 50% stake in Kroondal as well, we're valuing that at probably about 4.5 billion. So you are getting some sort of discount at these levels. Overall, obviously Zimbabwe is a little bit up in the air, but with them coming out and the government taking the 51% stake, it does look like it is closer to resolution at least, and maybe provide some support. On the whole, though, the company definitely is struggling. With the shutdowns at Everest and that.
What would you want to see? A change in management, perhaps?
No, Stuart Murray, whose nickname is the King Rat, is the guy who's really done time.
Is that a positive or a negative?
No, I don't know. But that's always been, and even he knows it's that. And I don't think he has a problem with it. He has been around this industry for many decades, and so he knows his way around an asset. They've terminated their relationship with Murray and Roberts Cementation, which was their contract miner at some of the main sections at Kroondal and at Marikana. They've taken that in-house. So they're desperately trying to curb costs, and they've bit the bullet and gone first, in a sense, by shutting down major sections of their mining operations. They obviously would like their industry peers to do the same, so that they don't have to take all the pain themselves. But I'm not quite sure, again, whether this is where you'd be going. The most beleaguered of the former majors, all you can say is that they still have 120 million ounces of platinum under the ground, which they own, and in some kind of new scenario it could be worth more than it is now.
Those deep value fund managers out there perhaps looking to this one to rise like a phoenix out of the ashes, is that possible, Gary?
I think it's going to be a big ask.
I'm trying to get some positivity here. What would make you buy the stock?
I think before anything, you need to see a turnaround in the platinum price. That's first and foremost. I think I saw a stat the other day that just under half of all platinum produced in South Africa at the moment is actually being produced below cost. So that doesn't paint a pretty picture for the sector as a whole. And without an increase in platinum prices, Aquarius is still going to struggle.
What platinum price are we talking about that is suitable for the platinum miners on current run rates?
Look, when the lights went off in 2007, then the platinum price sparked, well over $2,000 an ounce, just because people said, well, the supply is going to be constrained. I'm not sure. I think they'll get there eventually with the prices. And as I say, they need prices to dictate in order to get people to bring. But I tell you what would be a catalyst for me would be some positive developments in Zimbabwe. They're busy negotiating around a new constitution. For example, it includes the idea that if you're over 70 and you've served 2 terms, you can't come back. So we all know what that means. That would introduce perhaps a new pro-business, expansionary approach. That a couple of decades ago, Zimbabwe and South Africa's economies were roughly the same. South Africa was like 3 or 4 times larger. Now South Africa's economy is 41 times larger than Zimbabwe. Why? Because Zimbabwe has basically made every possible decision to scare away foreign investors, and that's the course that they're still on.
He's a wealth of information. Can you match that in terms of throwing forward to any facts that you could impress us with this evening, Gary?
To go to the question on the platinum price, we're looking for 18% increase in platinum prices at this stage, or about a 15% depreciation.
Can I throw it back to that story of dramatic supply constraints, aggressive supply constraints that will lead then to obviously greater demand? I mean, it's going to be an economic equation at the end of the day.
Yeah, look, I mean, if Europe recovers and you start to see more auto sales, it's not as though they've invented an alternative to the internal combustion engine. So that much is good. You know, you can't have electric vehicles if you don't want nuclear power. So we can put that aside. The auto sales is not that bad. Of course, they use a little bit less platinum every year because the AutoCAD designs get a little bit better. But you're right. Ultimately, if there's no new production, then there'll be a tightening of the market and then prices will go up.
Gary?
Yeah, and also I think you've got to remember that there's also a lot of environmental concerns around vehicle production. So you are going to see more stringent requirements coming in that you're going to have at least catalytic converters in the cars. So I think that also is going to boost up the demand for platinum. And also remember that when the prices first became softer around December, we had a lot of buying. So we saw inventories in platinum also increasing quite dramatically. And normally guys used to hold about 3 months supply. Now they're holding about 6 months, and they are drawing down on those inventories at the moment. So as soon as that runs out, I mean, you can see a push up in the platinum price very, very quickly.
Paul, hot or not on Aquarius?
No, I'm afraid not. Down and out.
Gary, hot or not on Aquarius?
Also not hot for me.